Yo, what is up, guys? So I got a one card FTK courtesy of Liporock. He actually built this. It's really cool. So all you need, guys, is Golden Castle of Stormberg. But I also want to mention that it only works 50% of the time, and the reason why is because you have to flip a coin. It is still a one card FTK. But dude, Summon Sorceress is definitely breaking the game, man. So anyways, what it involves is going for like the standard, like get out a bunch of cards, play via hero, kid, and of course this play we use Summon Sorceress. But because Golden Castle of Stormberg lets you just special summon two monsters, it can actually be either Cinderella or you can go for like the Iron Haas combo. And basically your opponent never gets to play Yugioh because, well, you gotta get lucky on this. Actually, I got like two replays. It's the same thing, but I'll explain it while the gameplay is going on here. So, Arcana Force 21, the world, actually has the effect of when it's summoned, you just toss a coin. If it's heads, during your end phase, you can send two monsters you control to skip your opponent's next turn, so they don't even get to play. But if it's tails, during your opponent's draw phase, add the top card of their graveyard to their hand. So it's a pretty cheesy FTK, but I mean, any FTK is pretty cheesy, but it's very consistent. It's a one card. It could be, you can either have Glyph, you can either have Terraforming, or of course Golden Castle of Stormberg. All you gotta do is make a sold. There's actually a lot of different ways you could actually pull this off. It doesn't have to be a sold. Although, I think the easiest like one card one would be Golden Castle, but all you gotta do, give him a light monster. Go ahead and go for Arcana Force. Go ahead and activate that effect. It does have to get lucky, though, on that effect. So now his opponent doesn't get to play. It's his turn once again. Golden Castle, go ahead and summon double monsters over here. Now, you could argue, though, however, if you banished all of, like, your Iron cards and all of, like, the Cinderella, because Cinderella and the Pumpkin Carriage can also be a double summon card. If you banished all of them, then, yeah, technically, you could RNG yourself to not go through, but it is a one card FTK, but it only works 50% of the time. It's actually really consistent to pull off the one card FTK, but again, the problem is unless you run a card that specifically lets you like reflip, there is some support for coin toss decks. It's a really janky, cheesy deck, but at the end of the day, it is pretty consistent. But it's 50%. Like I said, it's a one card FTK, but you still have to flip the coin. There is, there's a card called Second Coin Toss, and there is another card, Coin Toss. There's like a few Coin Toss cards. I want to say that there is a card that guarantees the result. Like, you get to apply. It's some Arcana card. I don't remember the name. I was just going to type in coin. Maybe it's like, if you flip a coin? Gosh, I guess there's only 50 coin cards. I don't remember what it is. If there was only 10 cards, I would go over everyone. There is Second Coin Toss, but that's not what you actually want. There is one where it lets you... Is it Light Barrier? Next one, test coin. Okay. It's not this. Okay. When you summon an Arcana Force monster, you get to choose the effect. Okay, so it's this card. During your standby phase, test coin. If the result is tails, the following effects are negated until... Okay, so don't worry about that because there's not going to be another standby phase. Okay, it's Light Barrier. So when you summon it, you get to choose the effect. Okay, there you go. That's the card that you want, okay? You throw this down and your opponent cannot really... Well, there's a lot of stuff that... There's actually stuff that stops coin toss and dice rolls. Like, there's a card called Dice Try. But for the most part, no one's really going to be stopping this. They'll probably stop you midway your combo. But like I said, it's a one-card FTK, so I think it's hilarious. But like I said, just it only works half the time. But anyways, for those of you guys that do want the deck profile, I'm going to give it to you guys. Like I said, there's a lot of other ways to pull it off. Like, even if your combo gets stopped, like, you could still go for, of course, things like Photon Thrash. There's still Malicious that can... You just need two Warriors, which, you know, I was thinking that would actually work quite well in this deck as Magical Mallet, because you do run into issues, potentially with Hero Kit if you drew too many of them. If you don't draw that many, well, you could still Thrasher and still continue your combo through that. There's also Autonomous Action U, which technically gets you another card anyways, but we're running a few equips here, of course, to go for a Soul's Effect. But anyways, onward with the deck profile. So anyways, we've got, of course, Arcana Force 21, the world, 3 copies of Value, 2 copies of Thrasher, 3 copies of Iron Knight, 3 copies of Glyph, which searches out your field spell to, of course, pull off the 1 card FTK. We have 3 copies of Goblinberg. We have 3 copies of Iron Hoss, 3 copies of Cinderella, 3 copies of the Pumpkin Carriage. So I believe it was at this one. With this card is don't always special summon. You can special summon 1 from your hand or deck. So if you lose on all of these cards, because this card does banish 10 cards, you can still go for Cinderella and then go to Pumpkin Carriage. It's still really consistent. And then we have 3 copies of Hero Kid, 1 Outstanding Dog Baron. And then we have 1 Reinforcement Armory, 3 copies of Terraforming, 1 Moon Mirror, 1 Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, 1 Autonomous Action Unit, 2 copies of Glass Slippers, and 3 copies of Golden Castle Stormberg. For the extra deck, well, the only thing that really matters is the Link Monsters, and of course, number 29. But we've got Super Quantal, number 81, we've got Gustav Max, Blade Armor Ninja, number 27, which can actually, of course, get you some really good cards. And then we've got, well, I mean, with this, I mean, if you have a bunch of level 4s, I mean, you could technically make this, you know. Kind of cool. Then we got Mannequin Cat, which is an important card. We got Firewall Dragon, Summon Sorceress, Isolde, 2 copies of her, Needle Fiber, and Link Kariba. We didn't really see Needle Fiber in here, but Needle Fiber is a pretty good card. Although I don't think there's any tuners in here. He might have just taken this from like another deck and it was like, yeah, I'm just gonna continue. I do that all the time, dude. But anyways, like I said, it's a cheesy deck, very consistent 1 card FTK, but it only works 50% of the time. I know it sounds weird, but obviously, you guys understand what I'm saying. It's very consistent to pull off the 1 card FTK, but you gotta get the heads. But anyways, shout outs to you again, Lipper. That's a really funny deck. Really consistent too, man. You know, if you guys really want to make this a little bit more consistent, I would recommend Magical Mallet. And to prevent your opponent from running any hand traps, you can actually run Called by the Grave. That can kind of help out. Maybe you can run Hage Hernate if you want to try this out. But it is very consistent. Like, it has easy potential to just, like, go game 1 and then just, like, FTK your opponent. Or basically, you're giving them no chance to play. So, actually, it still is your first turn. It's the... Well, you skip their turn, so it's still your turn. So, like, yeah, they really don't get to Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. But that's kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. I don't know. I feel like with 15 cards in the extra deck, or the side deck, you could play almost a normal deck, right? Like a normal Fairy Tale deck, then side deck out like some of these cheesy cards and play a normal deck game 2 and 3. So, I don't know. It's cheesy, but some people like those kind of things. And I just think it's hilarious. A very consistent 1 card FTK, but it only works 50% of the time. It works, okay? I know the title's strange, but... it makes sense. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. And if you guys got any cool FTKs like this one over here, send it into AzneyesReplays@gmail.com. I like showing off what you guys share in the community. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm signing out.